Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, for today's vlog, we're going to revisit the storm drain system a little bit. I knew this was kind of maybe going to be a problem when I was installing it, and a few of you mentioned it in the comments section also. But there's a minor problem with the way I set it up, and I tried to fix it when I was installing it, and it didn't quite work out right. But now I think I got an idea how to correct it in a more permanent manner. But can't do a whole lot about it right now because it's actually raining right now. But this will at least give me an opportunity to show you what the problem is. When I built the rain gutters, what I did is added these pieces of 4x4 here to the end of the wood on the patio cover, and then hung the storm drain or the rain gutters from that. The problem is the metal roof itself didn't hang enough over the edge of the wood to the point where sometimes some of the water is falling between the rain gutter and the wall rather than all of it going into the rain gutter. Like I said, I saw that as kind of a problem at the time I was installing the thing, but I figured I could maybe make it work, and it hasn't actually worked as well as I thought it would. And there were a couple options on how to do it, and I've been actually thinking about this for the past couple of weeks. Probably the best thing to do would be to take down all of this, start over again, and like shave a ½ inch or 3/4 of an inch off of each one of these. But unfortunately, it's really hard to get this thing off, and so I actually came up with another way that we're going to try, and that is with these pieces of metal here. This is just a little aluminum right angle piece. It's about 2 inches by 2 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove this underneath the rain, or underneath the metal ceiling, or the metal roof of the thing, and then have it go into the gutter. That way, all the water will be channeled into the gutter, and none of it will go between the gutter and the wall that it's attached to. But, like I said, I can't do a whole lot of that right now because it's really raining right now. But so we'll pick that up in a little bit. Hopefully this will blow over and we'll be able to do this. We're actually supposed to get a bunch of rain over the next 4 or 5 days, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of a break to do it. But right now it's raining pretty good. And in fact, I just got a warning on the weather radio saying that there's a tornado warning a little north of here, so I don't think it's going to affect us, but you know, we're going to kind of keep an eye out for it, just kind of try and stay dry for now. It is good to see that the rain gutter is working pretty well. It's channeling water into the garden, and glad to say the plants are doing very well. They are definitely enjoying the rain. That's always a good thing when you can get a lot of rain in initially, because sometimes when you replant plants, they get a little bit shocked being put into the ground. So one of the best ways you prevent that is by giving them a lot of water, and they're going to get a lot of water over the next week or so. So I'll catch up to you in a little bit when hopefully this rain stops. Now these are the plants that I put in the front yard a few weeks ago. You may recall when I did this. They are all doing very well. The hydrangeas are loving the rain. In fact, they're in full bloom mode right now. I can see here, even though over here we got a little bit of issue with some of the rainwater. I got an issue I'm going to probably have to deal with this rain gutter, because this rain gutter clearly isn't working well. But obviously can't do a whole lot with that right now. But even here, the plants are digging it. So just wanted to kind of catch you up on that, let you see that. Alright, so we're in kind of little light spots between storms today, and I think this is probably the best opportunity I'm going to have. So what I'm going to do is I've already taken off the leaf guards from the rain gutters, and basically what I want to do is I want to take that little right angle piece, kind of shove it under the rain gutter, or under the sheet metal of the roof on the patio cover, have it go up over this, and then what we'll be able to do is the water will roll off of that onto here, and it should work better. So I'm going to do that really quickly while it's just barely sprinkling out here, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So this is going to kind of give you an idea what's going to happen here. I've shoved the metal piece underneath here. It's sticking in about 2 inches. And what will happen now is the water will roll off here and into the rain gutter rather than going between the rain gutter and the wall. So all I got to do now is reattach this in here. I'm going to use the same sheet metal screws and drive all the way through there, and that should work. So I'm going to put it back together and I'll show you what it looks like real quickly. So yeah, I think this is going to work a little bit better. I've actually been putting more screws into the roof here just to kind of keep everything level and a little bit more flush. But this should definitely keep the water from going between the rain gutters and the wall that the rain gutters are attached to. And I've got about half of it done now. Still got to do the other half, and this is kind of where the flashing ends. So I'm going to have to pull the remaining 3 leaf guards off and start on the rest of it. But I think this will work, and so I'm going to put this back together and I'll show it to you in a few minutes. Alright, got everything attached again, got the little piece of flashing in there between the roof and the rain gutters, so that should channel all of the water into the rain gutter now, and hopefully we won't have any more leaks. Now it's still possible that I might have some leaks on the underside because I drove some screws through here in order to kind of hold everything in place, but I ought to be able to fix that up pretty easily with a little sealing compound and stuff like that, and that should eliminate any leaks whatsoever from this thing. So yeah, sometimes you got to put it in there and see what works and then find out what doesn't work and make modifications. That's the nature of improvising things like this. But I think it's going to work right now, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. It's supposed to rain a little bit more today and over the next few days, and we'll see how it works out. Boy, I wouldn't have believed it just from the rain we got, but you know, it didn't seem like it was that much. We got almost an inch of rain out of this thing. So that means that there's something else I kind of got to deal with today, and that is deal with the water level in the pool. The pool has been pretty well topped off for a while, you know, maybe a 1/4 inch down from the upper limit. But if you get another inch of rain, then that kind of creates a problem in the pool. So what I had to do, and I've noticed this for a while, that the water volume coming through the filter isn't what it should be. There should be a lot more water coming through there to kind of keep everything going. I'll show you what I mean. So this is the input to the skimmer. I've shown you this a little bit before. This is basically where you determine high level and low level. High level is where this mark is, and low level is about 4 inches lower. Now, I actually did this earlier today, so you're going to have to kind of use your imagination a little bit. But the water level was a little high because of all that rain that we've gotten today, and the pool was sort of overflowing a little bit. I also noticed, like I said, that the water volume coming out of the jet going into the pool. You got to remember, the water comes through here into the plumbing, goes down to the pump, through the filter, back from the filter, and back up into here into the pool. Well, the water volume coming out of this inside the pool was really low, and that's something you have to kind of do sometimes on these pumps and these filters. What ends up happening is sometimes the solid material that comes in from the pump ends up kind of on the top of the filter. The inside of this filter is sand, and there's probably some other stuff at the bottom too, but it's primarily sand. And what happens is anything that makes its way through the pump and into there kind of ends up on the surface of the sand inside the pump or inside the filter housing. And what that does is it ultimately cuts down the water flow. Now, this pump housing here, or this filter housing, has several different options for you to make the thing work in different ways. And one of the things that there's an option in here to backwash. And what the backwash does is, rather than feeding water in from the top from the pump, it feeds it in from the bottom and then exits out to the waste. So if you ever get to the point where you have too much gunk sitting on the top of your sand in your filter housing, you can run water backwards and it'll flow it all out and throw it down to the waste. So since I had to lower the water level anyway, that sort of kind of made sense to do that. So I put it into backflow mode, and pumped out a lot of the stuff out of there into the waste, and then put it back into normal filter mode and just lower the water level. Basically what you do at that point is you just drain water out of it until the water starts looking clear. And I did that, ran it for 3 or 4 minutes because I had to do it anyway, because like I said, the water level in the pool was way too high. And once I did it and got to the point where the water coming out was nice and clear, then I put it back into normal pump mode, and the water flow coming out of here is great. Now you can see there's actually pretty serious water turbulence coming out of there, and if I actually get in here, you can see how much water is flowing through there. It was about a quarter of that before, so that was kind of something that needed to happen. And like I said, you have to use your imagination, because it was raining when I did that, and I didn't want to be out here with the camera. It's raining a little bit now, but not like it was before. So yeah, a little something about pool maintenance. One of those little things you kind of figure out. You know, I had to figure this out on my own because there were no directions on this. So, you know, I just figured, okay, well, that's kind of how this, you know, this is kind of the image that I have in my head of how this thing works. And, and that's kind of, I just kind of talked to some people and said, okay, well, here's what's happening. You know, the water flow isn't as good. And they said, well, what you got to do is you got to backwash the pump or the filter every once in a while. And I did that, and that worked real well. And I got to do that maybe once a month or so. So that happened today, and like I said, water flow is much better now, and we're getting close to the point where we're going to be able to go swimming here soon. Looking forward to it. It's funny, a couple weeks ago when it was really, really warm out every day, the water temperature was actually up into the 80s. But just a few days of like overcast weather like this, and the temperature went down into 70, which is, you know, a little too cold for me. I'm a wimp when it comes to things like that. But in the last couple days, it's up to 74 again. So it's funny how the pool temperature changes very, very quickly in this pool. And hopefully, you know, if we can just get a week of nice warm weather and maybe a little wind, you know, because the wind it seems to me when it's windy, the temperature in the pool goes up faster. I think it's probably because the wind tends to stir up the water, and the water doesn't act as such a heat sink to keep the water, you know, keep the water on the surface warm but cool underneath. I think when the wind's there, it kind of whips things up, and the temperature tends to go up or down faster. So get some nice windy, warm days out here, and hopefully the pool temperature will go up again, and we can be back in this thing again. So there you go. So people asked on the live stream today how the garden is going. Everything seems to be going all right. I did lose one of the tomato plants, but the rest of them seem to be doing okay. Even some of them are starting to flower a little bit, so that's a good sign. And really, when you look at this one here, it looks like something ate it. So, you know, who knows? That might just be something I'll have to deal with. I've been thinking possibly in the future I might build some sort of a greenhouse around this, and that would keep pests out of it, hopefully. But that one there is definitely going good. That one's going full bore here. And since the 4 in the front are the same species of tomato, and then these two are another species, and this is a third species, if I lost one of the plants, that's not really the end of the world. And the jalapenos and habaneros, they're kind of doing their thing. I think they're going to like it better when we get a little bit more sun out. Right now it's a little too cloudy and a little bit too rainy, I think, for them. They'll like it better when we get the sun out. So we'll see what happens on those. You know, this is all just kind of an experiment to see what happens. You know, maybe I'll get some jalapenos and tomatoes out of this. Maybe I won't. If not, I'll learn from it and we'll try again next year. So anyway, I think that's all that I have for today. I know this one was kind of a short one, but that happens sometimes. But I will see you next time. Thank you as always for watching, and good night.